Now, quickly about automation. We go to the appropriate section, and to create a new one, we need to press the corresponding button. There are also templates already written, but they are more for demonstration purposes, so I always recommend building your own custom algorithms. So we click here, we can name our automation, choose the workspace where it will be stored, and also select the time zone, for example, New York, so to speak. The hours and days of operation during which this automation will work. Now we go directly inside. What do we find here? First, there's the Add Contacts button. Here, a widget with the CRM opens, and we can filter certain people we want to add to the automation. There's also a similar feature at the segment level. You can add an automatic filter, and as soon as a person appears in the CRM who matches this filter, they will immediately be added to the automation in the same way without your intervention. The next block is our profile center. Here we can accordingly choose the profile from which the mailing will be sent. Or if you have the same text for different audiences, for example, and you want to connect several different profiles to one automation, this can also be done accordingly. Now, let's go directly through the functionality. What can be done? Send connection requests, withdraw them, send messages, send public emails, more on this a bit later, send emails, and also social activities. In automatic mode, you can visit profiles, like posts, comment on these posts, and also endorse skills. Next, we have two triggers that are responsible for checking whether our friend request was accepted, and also for checking whether they responded to our message, a regular time delay. And also data handling, automatic addition and removal of tags. You can change lists, pipeline stages, and also the function to send to another automation. How is it useful? For example, if you have several sender profiles, you can create automation for each one separately, and then loop people by setting a condition that, for instance, if a person from one profile does not accept your friend request, they are forwarded to another automation. And from this automation, the person tries to reach out to this lead. Next, we have condition rules. Essentially, this is a function that builds scenarios based on the principle that if a person meets the specified rule, one scenario is developed for them, and if not, another scenario is developed. And also the A/B testing function. Accordingly, there is also a block for ending the automation. Now I'll show one of the examples. How to build automation. First of all, we, for example, send a connection request. Here you can either write some text, use certain variables, or leave this block empty. After sending the connection request, we need to set a trigger that will check whether our request was accepted. I recommend setting at least 14 days, that is 2 weeks. What does this mean? 2 weeks every 5 minutes, the system will check whether the request is accepted. If it is accepted, the person immediately falls into the scenario under the connected branch. If within 14 days the request is still not accepted, then accordingly the person falls under the no connected branch. And here, for example, what we can do, it's a good place to show how they work. Condition rules. If we are not accepted within 2 weeks, we create a condition rule in which we specify a premium feature. It should be open profile set filter. And accordingly, we have a scenario of what to do if the person has an open profile and if there's an alternative. If it's an open profile, we can, for example, send an in-mail. If there's an alternative, we have no other option. We conclude the automation at this stage. We return to our trigger for checking the contact request. And what to do if we are accepted. For example, we set a time pause for 1 hour. It can be more, it can be less. It's all up to you, purely to prevent the system from sending the next message. The very second our request is accepted, as it would look too much like automation, we wait for an hour and then send a message. After this, we can use a trigger for verification, a response. For example, wait 2 days, add a subtask. You can endorse a skill and wait another 2 days. And then we have the scenario again. It splits what to do if we don't get a response, and accordingly what to do if we do get a response. If there's no response, we can, for example, set a follow-up and send a message with the number 2. If there is a response, we can see that the branch still leads to the completion of the automation. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can duplicate the step of completing the automation here as well. This is roughly how automation works. And accordingly, to launch it, we have a toggle switch at the top, which currently shows pause. We can turn it on, and after that, the automation will start working. Similarly, you can put it back on pause